Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name's Bobby Waldron, and what we've got for this little video here is a nice in-box review of Eduard's limited edition 1/48 scale Striking Eagles kit. So that's the F15E Striking Eagles. Now just looking at the box art, looks very nice. Just on the side here we have what looks like to be 4 markings. I think one's an Israeli one there. Move the box around and we've got what looks to be on the side a bunch of aftermarket parts. So before I actually kind of really have a study this kit and open it all up, let's just see what we get inside before we unbag everything. Now this kit is it's about £61.30, right? So it's a bit of an expensive kit, but we've got all this aftermarket parts in here, and it's normally with Eduard they give us a nice bit of a bargain by putting loads of resin stuff in here to make it a bit of a bargain, because I know the kit that comes in this kit is Academy's F15 Striking Eagle, right? So this is the Academy kit reboxed by Eduard, and I've basically thrown in loads of nice bits of resin. So looking at it to start with, we have nice packaging, feels nice, and we have 2 sprues in this bag, and moving along we have, it looks like we've got now two sprues sort of per bag. Packaging feels nice and everything. Nice bunch of weapon sprues going on there. Alright, we've got the main part, you know, our fuselage section, nicely bagged in there. We've got separately bagged, hopefully as you can see there, inside this bag is our canopy part. So it's kind of like a double bagging for the canopy. You know, not bad, but I mean, you know, when it comes to canopies, I don't think you can you know, I think you should always just package that up really nice. Again, 2 sprues in a bag, again there, and that's all the sprues and bags. Apart from what we've got now is we've got a bag full of resin, what looks like wheels and hubcaps and stuff in there. And it looks like you've got a choice of having different types because there's quite a few in there. And then we've got the resin exhaust as well, which the exhausts on these F15E Striking Eagles look really nice, especially if you've got you know, all that nice resin as well. We've got 2 resin ejector seats as well, which is also really nice aftermarket parts. Then what we have is we have a nice bit of photo etch going on there, and another bit of photo etch. So you've got, like, this looks like the interior, seat belts, all that kind of stuff. And then we've got what looks like to be a bit of an exterior landing gear, bit of engine stuff, kind of photo etch going on there. So that's a nice bit of photo etch. You've got what looks like to be canopy masks and wheel masks as well. So quite a lot of aftermarket parts going on there. And then moving along, you know, the instructions by Eduard. I think the Eduard instructions are actually really damn good, but we'll have a closer look at them later. Then what you also get is, you know, 2 nice pretty big sort of decal sheets going on. We've got all our stencils here. Does it say who it's printed by? It says it's made in the Czech Republic, so it's not going to be cartographer. And the same with what would look like our markings as well, and that is printed by cartographer, made in Italy. So we've got 2 different types of decals going on here, but we'll closer look at them later. So I'm going to get this all out and really kind of give it a good scoring and look at it, and then we'll have a real good close look. So let's get started with instructions, and as always, nice bit of introduction about the actual real aircraft on the front, and we've got Eduard's nice satin, good quality paper and in colour instructions. And the great thing about Eduard is they always do this thing where everything's nicely coloured to show you, you know, where you stick what, glue what, put what. We've got all the photo etch instructions in here and all the resin instruction in here as well. We've got colour call outs for the different colours that are going to be with this kit as well. So it's all, their instructions are normally nicely above average, but as for like the kit, I mean, we're not really going to have much in the lines of like options, shall we say, with like flaps and slats and everything. But do remember with this kit, you got to put in a weight in the nose, but it doesn't actually tell you how much of a weight. Right, so that could be potentially a problem. So just whack in whatever weight you can whack in the nose section, in and around the canopy, the cockpit area. Just get as much weight in there as you want, because you don't want to have a tail sitter. But that's for the instructions. As I say, not really much options going on here. You do have air brakes, open or closed, but no flaps or anything like that. The air intakes are gonna be a problem, trust me. They are kind of dog awful. You're probably going to want to be putting some maybe FOD covers on, or actually, you know, completely rescribe. Sorry, not rescribe. Do some scratch building in there to make it look good, because it is not good in there at all. And apart from that, you know, you've got lots of weapons. This is the real kind of options for this kit, is so much weapons. Because it's an F-15E Strike Eagle, you're going to be able to just put, you know, tons and tons of weapons and all sorts of options and different things you can do with this. And the kit comes with so many weapons. It really does, well, basically you can make a really nice beefy looking aircraft. So apart from that, we've got 4 different markings. We've got the markings for the 4th Fighter Wing, that's in Afghanistan 2012, so a nice kind of frontline modern day fighter going on there. We've got the 366th Fighter Wing as well. We've got the 335th Fighter Wing going on there, and we've also got a nice little touch. We've got a nice bit of an Israeli F-15E Eagle going on there as well, and all nicely in colour for you. We've got our stencil markings here, which you know, do look nice and easily read, but there are so many stencils with this aircraft, so it's really going to be a decaling fest going on there. So there's the instructions, a nice above average set of instructions there. Moving on to the decals, as mentioned, we do have cartographer decals here. Looking very nice and sort of like a satin, glossy looking set of decals, nicely colourful, nicely in registry, nicely readable, and printed by a cartographer, so no problems with these decals at all. You know, nice score for them. However, we've then got this kind of confusion of having different decals from made differently. So we're going to have these made in the Czech Republic decals as well. They are not really kind of say so readable. I don't know if you can quite see that, but for say the no push and the no step decals here, you can kind of tell that it's like no push, no step, but I mean, you've really got to kind of read it. It's not sort of very clearly readable. They look in registry, but they also, I mean, when it comes to decals, I just get this feeling about a decal, and I kind of feel these decals, they feel a bit on the thin side, so they could be a little bit problematic in the sense that because they're so thin, they could potentially wrinkle up and crack quite easily, so you might want to be careful with these. But that's just my feeling. At the end of the day, until you've actually like cut these out, put them in water and see how they react, I mean, we're never going to find out 100% unless, you know, it's a nice brand, nice name like Cartographer, like these ones here, and that we know they're going to be good. So fingers crossed these decals will be good, because those are all the stencils and there are a ton of them. So moving along with our first couple of sprues. First sprue we have here. Now remember, this isn't an Eduard kit, this is an Academy. It's been reboxed by Eduard. Eduard's just thrown in all the resin stuff. So getting in close, what we see, I mean, this is kind of like kind of bad to start with, but what we have here is we have first part of our surface detail, and we have recessed panel lines going on here, but then we have this whole raised panel line thing going on. It's almost as if this piece here used to be raised panel lines, and then they've just come along and added recessed panel lines. but haven't removed the raised panel line. So we have this mixture of the two. We've got no rivet detail going on with this either. It's just, yeah, you're going to want to sand out these raised panel lines and maybe help along the recessed panel lines that's going on here. Very kind of strange, but there you go. We've got some pylons as well, nice recessed panel lines. They feel well, these panel lines feel kind of like nice, and that they're going to take a wash and everything. We've got some nice kind of rivet detail going on just here as well. Bring in a little bit more, and then we have some more kind of like sensors here. Could be a lightning pod or something. And the recessed panel lines here, I mean, they look quite nice and crisp. Little tiny bits of flash, but nothing major going on there, apart from, you know, that is just weird. I think this is like the external sort of fuel, well, an extra fuel tank or something going on there. But moving along, we now have like the main part of the kit, which is our big fuselage section, and this is where we can look at what we're going to expect with the surface detail with this kit. In general, this kit seems to be, you've got nice recessed panel lines, and what you also have is, very rarely you will see recessed rivets or any rivets going on with this kit at all, really. It's just very rare to see them. The recessed panel line detail is nice, but then we have these odd little places where it just completely almost fades, right? I don't know if you can even see that. It's just, you almost can make out that there was a recessed panel line there, but it has virtually just faded away, both here and here, and just the odd little place here and there. So you're going to be probably doing a bit of rescribing here and there with this kit. And not only that, I mean, the recess panel line detail just seems to have a bit of an area or two where it doesn't seem like it's going to take a wash as well. So in general, we're going to be sort of lightly rescribing, I think, the whole model, because I have built this before, and when I built it I put the wash all over, and I literally, when you wipe away the wash or something like that, if you use a sludge wash, it literally comes out of the recessed panel lines. They just don't seem to be kind of deep enough or something like that to actually have the wash go in there, so that when you wipe away the wash, you leave just behind what's in the recessed panel line. And as I say, we've got faded areas here and there, and that's the one other sprue. Moving along, we've got our next sprue here, which is got our actual front nose section where our canopy is. Again, you know, surface detail, as you can see, no rivet detail, but we have got this just nice sort of, I would almost describe it as average going almost into below average surface detail, because what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to get like a pea cutter, and you're going to want to just lightly here and there sort of give it a light bit of a rescribe, right? We're only talking using the weight of the pea cutter to actually just nicely go along and just make it that little bit better. And I don't know if you can see, but there is like just here, we've got this kind of like a break, right? There's like two little tiny sort of where the recessed panel line almost just stops, just like two little kind of dots here. You're going to want to kind of get those two little breaks out and get them nicely rescribed. And as you can see, you can do it nicely freehand all over the model, and just get it kind of nicer, more so that it's going to take a wash. Nice bit of riveting. That surface detail could turn out quite nice, but you're going to have to put the work in, I think, with the surface detail on this kit. We have a bit of air intake detail here. Again, it fits absolutely terrible. It's almost like, where do you put it, how do you build it, and then, you know, you look down the air intake and it looks absolutely horrible. So that is a bad point to this kit as well. But I mean, FOD covers or some sort of addressing it with a bit of scratch building, it can look rather nice. Moving along, wing detail again, you know, same surface detail as everywhere else on the kit. It just needs that little bit of help to kind of get it all nice. We've got our air intake sides here. If we look on the inside, we do have some ejector pin marks. Hopefully, as you can see there, that you might want to fill in, take care of, sand out as well. A bit more pylons going on here, which strangely enough, we've got loads of rivets going on just those pylons, but nowhere else. So moving along, got a bag full of weapons here. And this bag full of weapons, I mean, we just have like heap loads of 3-4 bombs, laser guided bombs, nice big fuel tanks as well, and some like triple ejection racks and all this kind of stuff going on in there. So a nice load of weapons, 2 sprues, exactly the same. So you should have loads and loads of bombs there, which is what you want to beef up this F-15E Strike Eagle. We've then got 2 sprues here as well, also identical, and we'll just bring you in. And what we've got here, we've got a few bunch of air-to-air missiles going on. We do have our ejector seats, but with this kit we get resin, so there's no point really looking at them. We do have our exhaust, which for out of the box standard, that exhaust does look nice, but we do have lovely resin exhaust with this, so no need to worry about that. Again, some more pylons, because this kit has tons and tons of pylons for the tons and tons of weapons that it carries, so very nice there. Remember, you've got double sprues going on there. Right, coming up to our last couple of sprues here, we have our cockpit detail. So what we have is, just looking at the tub, hopefully as you can see here, you know, for standard out the box, actually this cockpit detail is rather nice. I do think it's a nice sort of above average out of the box cockpit going on. And we do have our instrument display panels here as well. Again, you know, looking nicely above average for styrene plastic out of the box. Hopefully, as you can see there. We've got a bit of landing gear detail here, which does actually look rather nice, but we do get to put photo etch on these bits as well. So that's going to be quite nice, nice wheels. But then we have our air intakes. Again, it's such a problem with this kit. As you can see, we've got these big ejector pin marks going on in here. Some of them are actually quite thick, to the point where you're really going to have to sand away at them to get rid of them. And then it just generally feels, I don't know if you can see that, very sort of rough all inside. So they're going to look not very nice looking down the air intakes of this kit. Strangely enough, so annoying. It's all so smooth, so perfect, no ejector pin marks on the side you're not going to see. Really kind of gets me how they do it so perfect. The side you're not going to see, but the side you're going to see, absolutely dog awful. But there you go. Manufacturers do eventually learn. What we have here, we have on here this one, our last sprue, a bit more surface detail, you know, not bad going on inside there, nice bit of detail, you know, but we all know about the surface detail now. The bit more sort of exhaust detail for out of the box. If I've done this out of the box, and they do look very above average for out of the box exhaust, but we do have our resin, because actually, I mean, if you do want to just go out and buy the Academy F-15 Eagle and just get the styrene plastic that's in this kit, you can pay just £22, which is a nice price. You know, and you know, as I say, the cockpit and the exhaust is actually quite nice detail going on there. And again, we've got some ejector pin marks for our air intakes going on there. Then moving along to the dreaded canopy, but actually this canopy is rather nice. As you can see, it's looking rather shiny. We do have a seam line going down the middle, so that needs to be sanded out. And by the looks of it, the packaging hasn't been that brilliant, because it does look, I don't know if you can see that on camera, it does look a bit kind of worn and faded on the top, like it's done a little bit of rubbing. But you know, we're going to have to sand out that center seam line going down there anyway, so we're going to end up sanding out you know, that bit of rubbing in the box anyway. but actually not bad, sort of, you know, going into, you know, above average with the cockpit detail there. So that's nice. Moving along, let's have a look at our resin exhaust. So let's get them out the bag and let's have a bit of a closer look. Right, hopefully, as you can see there, that just looks absolutely gorgeous. You know, that is going to look so nice for the exhaust for this F15. Very, very nice there, and nicely inside there as well. That's going to look all nice. Just getting out the other little pieces. Oops, just dropped it on the floor. Alright, just getting out the other pieces. As you can see, again, nice detail going on there. Just what you'd expect from resin. There we go, looking absolutely gorgeous. Alright, so that's got good marks there for the kit. Just put that away. Moving along to our resin seats. Let's get one of these out. As you can see, looking nicely detailed, better than any kind of standard out of the box standard steering plastic. Looking nice all round. There is a load of photo etch to go on this, so that's going to liven it up even more. And then there are just a few more pieces of resin just in here to put on there, just to liven that up even more. Yeah, so top marks there for the resin seats. Our wheels as well, just get one or two of these out. Hopefully, as you can see there, we've got these nice wheels with printed you know, like Michelin on there and stuff, which is just a nice touch to it all. And then we've got our, you know, kind of hubcap part, which is also looking very nice, which is going to all just look so nice on this kit. Hopefully you can see again, there we go, nice detail there, making our landing gear and stuff look nicely way above average. We have Eduard's nice kind of masks for the canopies and the wheels as well. If you don't like making your own, I would always suggest you make your own masks. Not going to get these out the bags, but what we have here, we have all this really nice photo etch for the internal cockpit, which has already been painted for you, which is really nice, which should make the cockpit look absolutely outstanding, especially with all that resin ejector seat as well. Moving over, we then have some like all sorts of different details for exhaust, landing gear, I think even a bit of internal detail as well, which should all look nice. Right then, so now we've just gone through basically everything. So what is the final score for this kit? Well, I've written this down here. The final score for this kit is an 8.3, which actually puts this kit in the above average kit bracket, which does kind of sound about right, because I mean the kit on its own, as I say, the Academy one is like £22. The Academy kit, I would consider that a nice average kit that's going to need filler, sanding, it's going to need scribing, it's got a little bit of fit issue here and there, it's got a bit of a problem, it's kind of like a standard sort of kit. And what all this resin does is just upgrade your exhaust detail, your cockpit detail, your landing gear detail, to the point where it just brings it into that nice above average kind of scale. But how much is this kit? Well, first off, as I say, the Academy kit, so the plastic side of this kit, you can get from Academy for £22, but if you wanted to buy this kit, it's going to cost you £61.30, right? So you're paying, you know, basically about £40 extra to have all this resin. Now you do save some money, because I mean, you know, the resin, I mean, what is it? It comes to about £45 ish if you were to go off and buy all this aftermarket parts separately, which I'm kind of thinking, you know, you're only saving about £5, but I'm saying £65.30. that is RRP from Hanans. And the problem is with that is actually there is no problem, because you can go off and you can get it cheaper elsewhere. For instance, right now, as of doing this video, what is this? It's November 2013, just coming to the end of November 2013. I'm looking at the Boys Town Military Miniatures website now, and they've got 50% off this kit. So this kit at Boys Town Military Miniatures right now is £33, which absolutely puts this at a massive bargain right now. And if you go elsewhere, I'm pretty sure you can get it for less than £61.30. So really, this is what I would call, it's a nice kit, but with all the aftermarket parts, it makes it such a nice bargain, and you end up with such a nice kit. Now, the Academy kit is, you know, as I say, a nice standard kit that needs a bit of filler, a bit of sanding, a bit of scribing, but it's nice and cheap. And it does build into a nice, impressive kit, and you will love it. Trust me, it is such a nice kit. But if you want to get the best kit, you know, you've got your Hazagari, which Hazagari, yes, it is the better kit, but you're going to pay double, if not triple, compared to paying for an Academy. So it's kind of up to you. Do you want to pay double, triple, get a better kit, or do you want to have a nice cheap kit but actually still going to build into a nice kit? You're just going to have to put the work in to kind of get it up to standard, so to speak. So there you go. I mean, we've just done all the inbox review. The score is a nice 8.3. Hopefully you've kind of got a good idea about this kit, whether you want to buy it, whether you want to go out and get the Hazagari, or just go buy the Academy one and kind of, and not have all the aftermarket parts. It's totally up to you, but it's definitely recommended. It's an 8.3. I hope you've enjoyed this. So my name's Bobby Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I hope you've enjoyed.